Have you ever been surrounded by people, surrounded by noise, surrounded by everything you thought you needed, and yet, somewhere deep inside, you still felt strangely empty? Maybe you have experienced those nights when the world finally becomes quiet, but your mind refuses to become silent. One thought follows another. A memory returns. A worry about tomorrow appears. You think about the people you have lost, the things that did not happen the way you wanted, and the questions you still cannot answer. And even when everything outside you is silent, something inside continues to speak. But what if I told you that beneath all of this mental noise, beneath your fears, desires, memories, and restless thoughts, there is a deeper sound that has nothing to do with the ordinary sounds of the world? Paramahansa Yogananda spoke of this sacred vibration as OM, the cosmic sound, the sound of creation itself. He taught that OM is not merely a word, and it is not simply something to chant with your lips. It is a doorway into a deeper awareness of your own being. Imagine for a moment that the universe is not as silent as it appears. Imagine that beneath the movement of the stars, beneath the rhythm of nature, beneath your heartbeat and your breath, there is a subtle vibration connecting everything. And perhaps the reason you feel restless so often is not because something is missing from your outer life, but because you have forgotten how to listen to your inner life. You have been listening to the world for so long that you may have forgotten the sound of stillness. Today, we are going to explore why Yogananda called OM the sound of the universe, what this mysterious vibration truly represents, and why learning to become silent may be one of the deepest journeys your soul can ever take. Because sometimes, the answer you have been searching for is not another voice. Sometimes, it is the sacred sound waiting beneath all the noise. Most people spend their entire lives listening outward, but very few learn how to listen inward. From the moment we wake up in the morning, the world begins speaking to us. Messages arrive on our phones, people tell us what they expect from us, responsibilities demand our attention, and society constantly tells us what we should achieve, what we should become, and what we should desire. Slowly, without realizing it, we become so accustomed to external noise that silence begins to feel uncomfortable. Imagine someone named Arjun. He works hard every day. He takes care of his family, fulfills his responsibilities, earns a living, and appears perfectly normal to everyone around him. If you asked him whether everything was okay, he would probably smile and say, "Yes, everything is fine." But when the day ends and he finally lies down in his quiet room, something changes. The distractions disappear, and suddenly he is alone with his own mind. Thoughts begin rushing through his head. Did I make the right decision? What will happen tomorrow? Why did that person treat me that way? Why am I still unhappy when I have achieved so much? Why does something inside me still feel incomplete? Perhaps you have experienced something similar. There are moments when you can have a comfortable home, loving people around you, enough money, and many things you once prayed for, yet still feel an unexplained emptiness inside. Yogananda's teachings invite us to look at this emptiness differently. The problem may not always be that something is missing from your life. Sometimes, the problem is that you have become completely identified with the noise inside your mind. Every thought feels like truth. Every fear feels like a warning. Every painful memory feels like your identity. But you are not every thought that passes through your mind. You are the awareness that can observe those thoughts. There is a deeper part of you that remains present while thoughts come and go, while emotions rise and fall, and while circumstances constantly change. The spiritual journey begins when you stop running after every thought and begin becoming still enough to observe what is happening within you. This is where the deeper meaning of OM begins to appear. OM is not simply a sound you make with your voice. It can become a reminder to turn your attention inward, away from the endless noise of the world and toward the quiet presence within. And perhaps this is the hidden problem of modern life. We have learned how to fill every empty moment, but we have forgotten how to experience silence. We reach for our phones when we are alone. We turn on music when the room becomes quiet. We search for another conversation when we feel uncomfortable with ourselves. But what if the silence you are trying to escape is actually the doorway to the peace you have been searching for? What if, beneath all the thoughts you are afraid to face, there is a deeper stillness waiting for you? Yogananda's wisdom encourages the sincere seeker not to fear that silence, but to enter it gently. Because when the mind becomes quiet, even for a few moments, you begin to discover something remarkable. You realize that peace does not always have to come from changing the world around you. Sometimes, peace begins when you stop allowing the world to control the world within you. And perhaps OM is an invitation to begin that journey, one breath, one moment, and one quiet awareness at a time. Why does the mind become so restless, even when everything around us is quiet? Why do thoughts continue racing when there is nothing urgent happening in the present moment? To understand why Yogananda spoke so deeply about OM, we first have to understand that sound is more than something we simply hear with our ears. In the physical world, every sound is created through vibration. A bell vibrates, the air carries that vibration, and our ears receive it as sound. Music, the human voice, the movement of nature, and even the rhythm of our breathing are all connected with vibration. But Yogananda pointed towards something much deeper. He described OM as the sacred cosmic vibration, a spiritual symbol of the underlying presence that connects creation. In this understanding, the universe is not simply a collection of separate objects. Everything is part of a greater movement of energy and consciousness. The stars move, planets move, nature changes, our bodies change, and even our thoughts constantly arise and disappear. Yet behind this endless movement, spiritual wisdom points toward a deeper reality that remains steady. OM represents that sacred underlying vibration. This is why Yogananda did not treat OM as merely a word to repeat mechanically. The purpose is not simply to make a beautiful sound. The deeper purpose is to become inwardly quiet and attentive. When you chant OM calmly, allowing the vibration to settle through your body, your attention gradually begins moving away from external distractions. Your breathing becomes slower, your thoughts may become less restless, and you begin to notice the space between your thoughts. At first, you may only hear your own voice. But with deeper practice, the emphasis slowly changes from making the sound to listening within. You are no longer trying to force a spiritual experience. You are simply becoming still. And this is important because the spiritual path is not always about adding something new to yourself. Sometimes it is about removing the layers of noise that prevent you from recognizing what is already present. OM becomes a bridge between the outer world and the inner world, between restless activity and peaceful awareness. It reminds you that beneath the changing circumstances of life, there is a deeper stillness. And perhaps this is why the ancient sound of OM continues to touch the hearts of sincere seekers. It does not ask you to run away from life. It simply invites you to become quiet enough to experience life from a deeper place. There is another reason why becoming still can feel so difficult. The mind does not enter silence carrying an empty space. It carries memories, habits, desires, fears, disappointments, and patterns that have been repeated for years. Yogananda's teachings on karma offer a powerful way to understand these inner patterns. Karma is not simply a punishment for something we did in the past. It can also be understood as the continuation of tendencies created through our thoughts, choices, emotions, and actions. Every time we react in the same way, we strengthen a familiar pattern. Think about someone who becomes angry whenever they feel disrespected. At first, the anger may seem automatic. Someone says something hurtful, and immediately the person reacts. Later, they regret it, promise themselves they will remain calm next time, and yet the same situation happens again. Why? Because the reaction has become a habit within the mind. The same thing can happen with fear, jealousy, attachment, insecurity, or even constant worrying. We may sincerely want peace, but our inner patterns keep pulling us toward the same emotional reactions. This is where the practice of OM can become deeply meaningful. When you sit quietly and repeat OM with awareness, you create a small space between yourself and your thoughts. A painful memory may appear, but instead of immediately following it, you observe it. Anger may rise, but you breathe before reacting. Fear may speak loudly, but you remind yourself that a thought is not always a prophecy. Slowly, you begin to understand that you are not controlled by every pattern inside you. You can become the witness. And that moment of witnessing is powerful because it creates freedom. Imagine someone criticizing you. Your old pattern may tell you to immediately defend yourself or attack the other person. But your growing awareness gives you another choice. You pause. You breathe. You become still. Then you respond with wisdom instead of reaction. This is how spiritual practice begins changing karma, not by magically removing every difficulty, but by transforming the consciousness with which you meet those difficulties. OM reminds you to return to that inner stillness again and again. And every time you choose awareness over reaction, you plant a different seed within yourself. Over time, those small choices can change your thoughts, your relationships, your behavior, and ultimately the direction of your life. As you begin turning inward, something subtle may start changing in your life. Spiritual awakening does not always arrive through dramatic visions, extraordinary experiences, or moments that feel supernatural. Very often, it begins quietly, almost unnoticed. You may simply find that you are no longer reacting to everything the way you used to. A situation that once made you angry may still hurt, but you recover more quickly. Someone may criticize you, yet you no longer feel the need to prove yourself immediately. You may begin enjoying moments of silence instead of feeling uncomfortable when there is nothing to distract you. These small changes can be meaningful signs that your awareness is becoming deeper. Imagine waking up one morning and noticing that you do not feel the same urgency to check your phone. You sit near a window, take a slow breath, and for a few moments, you simply observe the morning. Nothing extraordinary happens. Yet there is peace. Another day, you may be walking alone after a difficult conversation, and instead of replaying the situation in your mind for hours, you take a breath and quietly repeat OM. Slowly, the emotional intensity begins to soften. You realize that you cannot control what another person says or does, but you can choose how you respond. Perhaps you begin asking deeper questions too. Who am I beyond my job, my relationships, my achievements, and my fears? What remains when the mind becomes quiet? Why do certain situations repeatedly trigger the same emotions within me? These questions are important because they turn your attention from the outer story of your life toward the inner reality behind it. Sometimes, you may also experience moments of unexpected stillness during meditation, prayer, nature, or even ordinary daily activities. For a few seconds, your thoughts become quiet, and you feel completely present. Do not try to force that experience to return. Do not become attached to it. Simply receive it with gratitude. The purpose of spiritual practice is not to collect mystical experiences or tell yourself that you are becoming special. The real sign of inner growth is much simpler. You become more peaceful, more patient, more compassionate, and less controlled by fear. You begin listening before reacting. You begin forgiving without forgetting the lesson. You begin understanding that not every battle deserves your energy. And perhaps the greatest sign is this: you slowly stop searching for peace everywhere outside yourself. You begin discovering that even in the middle of an uncertain life, there is a quiet place within you that can remain still. OM becomes a gentle reminder to return to that place whenever the world becomes too loud. So how can you bring this teaching of OM into your everyday life? You do not have to leave your family, disappear from the world, or travel to a distant mountain to begin. The spiritual path can begin exactly where you are, in the middle of your ordinary life. Start by giving yourself a few quiet minutes each day. Sit comfortably, relax your shoulders, close your eyes, and allow your breathing to become natural. Then gently repeat Om without forcing your voice or trying to create a special experience. Feel the vibration of the sound and allow your attention to rest upon it. When the sound ends, remain quiet for a few moments. Simply listen. If thoughts appear, do not become frustrated. Let them come and go. If emotions arise, do not fight them. Observe them with patience and gently return your attention to the breath and the feeling of Om. You can begin with 5 minutes each day and gradually increase the time as it becomes comfortable. But remember something important: meditation is not meant to help you escape from life. It is meant to help you live life with greater awareness. If someone speaks to you harshly, your practice can help you pause before reacting. If you experience failure, it can remind you that one difficult moment does not define your entire life. If someone disappoints you, it can help you respond with understanding instead of immediately allowing anger to control you. You can even bring this practice into ordinary moments. Before sending an angry message, take one slow breath and silently remember Om. Before making an important decision, become quiet for a few seconds. Before entering a difficult conversation, settle your mind. These small pauses may seem insignificant, but they can completely change the way you respond to life. Healing does not always mean changing your circumstances. Sometimes healing means changing the consciousness with which you experience those circumstances. You may not be able to control what happens around you, but you can gradually learn to control how deeply it disturbs your inner peace. Om can become a gentle anchor, bringing you back whenever fear, anger, or confusion begins pulling you away from yourself. And with regular practice, you may discover something beautiful. Peace is not something you have to chase through people, possessions, achievements, or circumstances. It begins to grow when you become still enough to recognize the peace that has always been waiting within you. Now we come to the deepest lesson behind Yogananda's understanding of Om. Perhaps Om is not something you are trying to find outside yourself. Perhaps it is an invitation to become quiet enough to recognize a deeper reality that has always been present. Think about the ocean. On its surface, there are countless waves. Some waves are gentle, while others are powerful. Some rise high, and others disappear almost immediately. But beneath all those changing waves is the vast and silent ocean. In a similar way, our thoughts are like waves. Our emotions are waves. Our successes, failures, relationships, fears, and desires are all constantly changing. Even the body changes with time. Everything we experience in the outer world is temporary. Yet there is something within us that observes all these changes. There is an awareness that remains present while thoughts come and go. Yogananda's spiritual message invites us to discover that deeper awareness. This is why Om carries such profound meaning. It points beyond the temporary personality and toward the deeper consciousness behind our experience of life. When you chant Om, meditate upon it, or simply become quiet and listen inwardly, you are not trying to become someone extraordinary. You are learning to remember what is already within you. And this awakening does not mean that life will suddenly become free from problems. Difficulties will still come. People will still disappoint you. Plans will still change. You may still experience loss, uncertainty, and moments of sadness. But something inside you can become different. You begin to understand that a difficult experience is something you are going through, not the complete definition of who you are. You can feel sorrow without becoming completely lost in sorrow. You can experience success without allowing pride to control you. You can love someone deeply without losing yourself in attachment. You can walk through uncertainty while carrying a quiet trust within your heart. Perhaps this is the deeper meaning of calling Om the sound of the universe. It is not simply about hearing a mysterious sound with the physical ears. It is about awakening to the sacred presence behind all movement, behind all change, and behind all experience. The world around you will continue to make noise, but you can learn to remain inwardly still. And when you discover that stillness, you may realize something profound. The peace you were searching for outside yourself was never completely absent. You had simply forgotten how to become quiet enough to recognize it. As we come to the end of this journey, take a moment to become completely still. Forget, just for a few seconds, about everything waiting for you outside this moment. Forget the messages, the responsibilities, the worries, and the questions that have been occupying your mind. Simply breathe slowly and remember what we explored today. Yogananda's understanding of OM reminds us that beneath the constant movement of life, beneath our thoughts and emotions, there is a deeper stillness that we can learn to experience. You do not have to run away from the world to find it. You do not have to become perfect to experience it. You simply have to begin listening within. Perhaps tonight, before you sleep, sit quietly for a few minutes. Close your eyes, take a slow breath, and gently repeat OM. Then allow the sound to fade into silence. Do not force anything. Do not expect a vision or a special experience. Simply remain present. Ask yourself, what remains when I stop chasing every thought? And then listen. Maybe nothing dramatic will happen, and that is perfectly okay. Spiritual growth often happens quietly, through small moments of awareness that slowly change the way we live. The next time someone hurts you, pause before reacting. The next time fear appears, breathe before believing it. The next time life becomes overwhelming, remember that you can return to stillness. And if this message touched something within your heart, I would love to hear from you. In the comments, write, OM, I choose inner stillness, or simply tell us what OM means to you personally. Your comment may be the very message another sincere seeker needs to see today. And if you found peace, inspiration, or a deeper understanding through this video, gently subscribe to the channel and share this message with someone who may need a little inner peace in their life. Also, tell me in the comments what you would like to hear in our next video. Would you like us to explore meditation, Kriya Yoga, Karma, spiritual awakening, dreams, the third eye, or another teaching connected with Yogananda's wisdom? Your suggestions help guide the next journey. Until we meet again, may your mind become calmer, your heart become lighter, and your awareness become deeper. May you learn to hear the sacred stillness beneath the noise of life. And may the divine peace within you guide every step of your journey. Jai Guru Dev.